boundaries, but there's also a benefit of setting bold boundaries. And I want to help you because I believe now that you are going towards the new year, the 2025 year, many of you need to set clear boundaries. And the reason why I share this is because if we fail to set boundaries, it could lead to so many negative outcomes in our lives, so many negative effects, such as emotional abuse, relational abuse, even spiritual abuse. And I believe that for you to go into your 2025, you need to set boundaries because there's a benefit in setting bold boundaries. Boundaries are like fences, they protect your time, your energy, your value. It enables you to not only honor yourself and to show yourself how much you love yourself, but it also enables you to honor God. Without them, you will experience so many challenges. And I cannot let you go into 2025 without setting boundaries. There was a time in my life where I was just opening myself up to so many things. Specifically, when I was first getting into college, I had a zeal for Jesus. I wanted other people to experience God and encounter God. And I had an open heart to minister to people, to pour into people, to love on people. I was always checking in on them and I was allowing people to also check in on me. And while there are so many benefits to that, there's also another side of it because now people are just reaching out anytime they want, asking me anytime they want. Like I was so nice and so open and so loving that if you ask me for $100, I'll just give it to you. If you just ask me for money, I'll just do it. If you need my time, you want me to meet, I'll do it. You call me anytime, I'll just answer it. I would jump and just do anything in my power to try to help and to try to respond. And then I learned that I was getting burnt out from giving, and nobody was actually giving to me as well, like pouring into me. I got burnt out and burned. And it's really because I didn't set a boundary. There was a lot of emotional burnout. There was a lot of resentment in my life. I started to even think about, dang, I'm doing all this for other people. Why aren't they doing it for me? And I had to learn the reason why I was experiencing what I was experiencing at the time is because I did not set boundaries. There are consequences when you do not set boundaries. When you constantly give and give and give more than you receive, it will lead to frustration, resentment, bitterness, and it could also damage your relationships. Another thing that not setting boundaries, here are your consequences. You will lose sight of your identity. Without boundaries, you lose sight of your own wants, your own needs, your own values, your calling, and you become overused, overly used by people, and you become overly focused on pleasing other people. And I'll be the first person to tell you, I used to be a people pleaser. Yep. I used to be a people pleaser and I used to do whatever I had to do in my power to get people to accept me, to love me. And I would even cross my own boundaries, jeopardize my own identity and boundaries so that other people could like me or accept me. And that led to so many things, so many damages. I don't want that for you as you're going into 2025. I don't want you to go into 2025 setting boundaries because relationships without boundaries, ooh, If we talk about, you know what we're going to talk, relationship without boundaries can become very imbalanced. Meaning, if somebody in that relationship, let's say it's you, if you don't have boundaries, one, you might become someone who just overly give, and it's easy to take advantage of you. I'm gonna say that again, and this is one example. It is a unhealthy relationship when you are the only person giving and being taken advantage of. Some of y'all know what it's like because you're being taken advantage of by people in your family right now. Hmm. I know, I know. We can be real in the comments. Some of y'all know what it's like. You're being taken advantage of by people at your job. I'm gonna say one more. Some of y'all know what it's like to be taken advantage of by people at your church. And could it be that the reason why people are taking advantage of you is because you have not set a boundary? I'm gonna get to what it looks like to actually set a boundary, but I have to first talk to you about the dangers of not setting one. When you don't set a boundary, you end up overextending yourself. You overextend yourself. You work until you are burnt out, which what is, and you know what that's going to lead to? That's going to lead to you having mental fatigue, physical stress. You start ignoring your own needs. You start all you care about is what other people want, or 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 other people care about what they can get out of you, and that's dangerous. And I want to give you some signs that you may be lacking boundaries in your life right now. Am I helping somebody? I don't, because I don't want you to go into 2025 without setting boundaries. You need that so that you can walk into your purpose. You need boundaries so that you can walk into the plan and the purpose of God over your life. God wants to do something really great through you. But if you don't have a boundary, how can you effectively live God's best for your life? Because I believe that boundaries actually protect you from draining yourself, from the distractions in your life. When you have a boundary set in place, you won't allow just anybody to walk up on you and to say anything, to do anything. Because when you don't have boundaries, people could steal your joy. When you don't have boundaries, people could take advantage of you. I don't want that for you as you go into 2025. So I want to talk to you about it. Here are some clear signs that you are lacking boundaries. Number one, you feel overwhelmed, anxious, and resentful, especially around certain individuals or even certain projects. Number two, a sign that you're lacking boundaries, you struggle to say no and you feel guilty when you say no. I know it's hard. I know the people pleasers that are watching me. I used to be a people pleaser, so I'm even talking to myself. I used to struggle to say no. And I know that's probably making you feel some type of way because I said that. But I'm trying to help you. Hey Chanel, it's good to see you guys. As you guys are jumping on, I want you guys to tap the screen, double check, double tap the screen right now. That's how you like this video. So like this live stream, share this live stream, and subscribe if you're watching for the first time. I'm glad because I want to help you with going into 2025, setting boundaries. Because I don't want you to just allow anything or anyone to just do whatever they want. No, people need to respect your boundaries in 2025. Number three, here's a sign that you are lacking boundaries. You feel underappreciated and you feel like you are being taken advantage of by other people. Does that sound like you? Do people take advantage of you? Do you don't feel like you're being appreciated? It could be you don't have a boundary set in place. We're gonna dive deep into that, but I want you to reflect on this because I'm going into 2025, and we're in 2024 right now, but I'm taking my YouTube channel. I want my community to go into 2025 with just a reflection, identifying things that are vulnerable, things that are affecting you in a negative way, because you need to go into 2025 set free. You need to go into 2025 with clarity, with a joy to tackle what God wants you to do. Number 4, here's a sign you're lacking boundaries. You avoid confrontation. You avoid confrontation even when others overstep. Mm. Hey Candace, it's good to see you. Oh my goodness. And then the last one, we're gonna go into it. No, a sign you are lacking boundaries is when you feel like your time and energy and values are not your own. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't want none of that to be you. I don't want you holding on to that in 2025. I want you to let that go even as you're watching this right now. Because there's some people you need a boundary in place. You need a boundary against that boy that keeps hitting you up. Some of you need a boundary against that woman who keep using you and abusing you. Some of you need boundaries around those people that are at your job and those people who got access to you. Some of y'all need to also have boundaries on your social media, because too many people have access and they could just call you and talk to you and message you. Some people need to be blocked. Yes, and blocking people is a form of setting a boundary. And it's not that you're being mean or you're trying to be evil. No, you just value your peace and value yourself so much so that you don't just allow anybody or anyone or anybody at your job to just do anything to you. Anybody can't just walk inside my house or just show up at my house any time of the day. Mm-mm. If I allow people to just show up at my house any time of the day, then that says something about me. What am I doing? Why am I allowing that? Because I don't know what people could bring into my house. I'm just giving y'all an example. And you should do that too. Like, not everybody should be able to walk up into your house and knock on the door unannounced. And y'all ready for this? Even when it's family, some people need to be set free. Ooh, some people that are watching me, you need to be set free, because some of you think that you cannot set boundaries against your family. The truth of the matter is you can, because there are some family members who are toxic and some of them who are bitter, and they try to bring you into stuff that you shouldn't be involved in. Some of y'all know what it looks like for family members to just say anything or talk any way towards you. No, 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 no. We are not accepting that in 2025. I don't even want you guys to accept that right now. And I know Christmas is around the corner, where a lot of you are going to be at dinner tables with certain family members that make you uncomfortable. And they're going to say things to you that make you uncomfortable. And they're going to act a certain way that make you uncomfortable. I want you to set a boundary against that. And one key way of you setting boundaries without drama, without being harsh, without, and I'm just saying in a very loving way, you could just be very direct and be very loving and assertive in how you set boundaries. It can be calm and collective, but it has to be direct. And you can say things like this: Hey, I love to host. I'm gonna give you an example. I love to host at my house this year. I would like to host Christmas at my house this year. However, I, I don't know if I'm going to be cooking. So I would encourage everybody who's coming, quote unquote, family members, to bring your own dish. We're going to do potluck style, because and I will also need some help cleaning up afterwards, because this year I just don't have the energy like I used to. That's not me. That's a direct, like that's an example of how you could set a boundary. Another example how you can set a boundary. especially when people are, man, are giving you, are saying words to you, but it doesn't sound genuine, or it doesn't sound as if it's coming from a love or a good place. I'm complimented you'd ask me to help, but unfortunately, I have too much going on right now and I have to turn over to somebody else this year. Like sometimes people come to you asking for help. You could tell them, hey, I'm glad that you thought of me, but in this season of my life, I'm not going to be able to help like I used to. I hope you understand. Or for someone who got their parents who always ask you about the same thing, when are you getting married, or when are you doing this, you could kindly tell that parent, hey, we've talked about this before. I'd appreciate that we not talk about this right now because I'm really having a good time. Now, I wouldn't want this conversation to affect the mood or the environment at this time. Like, can we not talk about this so that we can enjoy each other's company? Like some of us, we really need to set boundaries, even when it comes to people that are closest to us. Because here's the travesty, and here's the reality. There are those of you who are not willing to set boundaries, and it's actually affecting you more than the other person. Why? Because it's turning you to someone that you're not. It's bringing lots of anxiety and lots of anger on the inside, hidden anger, hidden bitterness, unforgiveness, when all you need to do is set a boundary and speak up about how what this is, or how this is making you feel. For example, somebody touches you the wrong way or say something, you can literally tell, hey, please don't touch me like that. I don't mean to be rude, but it's inappropriate and I'm not okay with that. And see how direct that is? We have to learn to set boundaries. Boundaries when it comes to our bodies, because there are some people who think that they could just touch people any type of way, and that goes for both people, both male and female. Am I helping some of y'all? If I'm helping you, let me know in the comment section, and make sure you tap the screen 2 times. Tap the screen 2 times so that you can like this live stream. I want you to share this live stream and subscribe if you're watching for the first time. It's important to set boundaries, because if you don't, it's going to ruin your relationships. If you don't, it's gonna breed bitterness. If you don't, it's gonna produce pain. And I want us to go into 2025 building better boundaries, building better boundaries around our relationships, around our families, around the people that we go to work with. We need to build better boundaries for our children. I don't even want to go into that conversation. Whew. Because our children are just watching anything on social media these days. And we parents aren't aren't setting a boundary so that they could be protected from all the schemes and the devil's work and the things that's going on social media. Do y'all know what goes on social media, y'all? Why do you think the US is trying to ban TikTok? Have you ever thought about that? If the US, United States, is trying to ban TikTok, what makes you think that you don't need to set boundaries on a TikTok platform for your children? We have to build better boundaries in 2025, because that's what's going to help you find the happiness, identify your values, identify what drains you and what energizes you. Some of y'all, the reason why you're not happy when people invite you to certain things is because there are people that are invited to it as well that don't necessarily bring excitement or joy into your life. As a matter of fact, those same people drains you. So you don't want to be around them. And I get it. Why don't you stop suffering in silence and set a boundary around that so that you don't have to be around those people? And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't think Jesus set boundaries? Guys, Jesus set boundaries as well. Why do you think Jesus, when he walked with the disciples for 3 years, he would often draw away, isolate himself? He would go into a solitary place to pray to his heavenly Father. Nobody else was involved. It's just him and God. And there was one point Jesus never even told them where he was going. He just left and they were like, where is our teacher? Where is Jesus? Where did he go? Jesus even set boundaries. And if Jesus set boundaries, we should set boundaries. And you might be here asking, like, how do I build better boundaries? I think you should pray for the power and the patience to identify what that boundary will look like for you. Because what I am not saying for you to just cut people off. Please, when I say set a boundary, I'm not saying cut people off. When I say set a boundary, I am saying for you to use wisdom on how you ought to protect your heart, protect your values, protect your energy, protect your joy, protect your happiness. Because the truth of the matter is that there are things, people, places, environments that really affects us in a negative way. And the reason why a lot of us aren't happy or at peace is because we have not set a boundary. So go into 2025 setting boundaries. Go into 2025 setting clear boundaries and define them so that you can determine those personal priorities that you deem valuable to you. Define your desires, define your boundaries, and get the direction that you need so that you don't have to be distracted or drained by people who you need to set a boundary from. And even when you're setting boundaries, I do want you to, I said this earlier, but I do want you to do this. I want you to communicate your boundaries with compassion. Communicate with compassion. It's important for us to communicate with compassion because, again, there are some relationships you do not want to destroy. For example, family relationships. You shouldn't go if you need to set a boundary with a mom or a dad or a sister or a sibling. No one's saying, I'm not saying, please hear me. I'm not saying for you to cut them off and don't want anything to do with them. No, there's a compassionate way, a loving way for you to set a boundary. Even Ephesians, in the book of Ephesians, you see it all the time. Let your mouth be with grace. Let your words be seasoned with grace. We are called to speak the truth in love. And even though sometimes what we say might hurt other people, because sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes it's our delivery that needs to be seasoned with grace so that people won't feel as if we are devaluing them and hating on them and disrespecting them. I want you to communicate with compassion when you set boundaries, especially around people that mean the most to you. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to burn a bridge. You want to bring a brother closer. I hope this is helping y'all. I hope this is helping y'all. And especially for those of you whose parents caused pain in their lives. Your parents caused a lot of pain. Your parents caused you to become a people pleaser. Your parents unintentionally caused so much damage into your life. I get it. But don't burn that relationship because they continue to break those boundaries. They don't respect your boundaries. I get it. And please stop blaming yourself. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself for some of the stuff that people are doing, like when people are not respecting you or your wife, or respecting you and your family. They're not respecting your leadership. They're just invading your privacy. They're just they're just disrespecting your boundaries. It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. God did not call you to condemn yourself for others people's actions. Because the truth of the matter is that there are people and because of their flaws and their sin and even their brokenness, they come to you from a wounded place. Don't let their wounds wound you. This is why it's important to protect our peace and invite God into the deepest pain in our lives. You need to set boundaries. Boundaries are important. Boundaries are important. Here are the benefits of setting better boundaries. Number one, it brings peace. And when you are at peace, it protects your priorities. Some of you are not at peace, and it's really because you have not learned how to set a boundary or how to prioritize what matters to you. If it matters that you feel loved, then be around people that make you feel loved. If it matters to you that you feel protected, be around the things, or make sure you're around that protection. You need to prioritize your space and prioritize your well-being. And here's the sad truth: a lot of people don't prioritize themselves. Saying no is not a bad thing, and I think a lot of us need to get used to saying no. No is not a bad word. Another thing, boundaries actually teach other people how to treat you. Woo! You want people to respect your boundaries? Teach them how to treat you by setting a boundary. And boundaries actually set you free to live a life of joy and to live a life that pleases God. It breeds fruitful freedom, fruitful living, the freedom that fuels your faith and it fuels your life. You need boundaries in order for you to actually be effective, to actually be happy. Imagine a life with no boundaries. Can you imagine none of us here not having any boundaries? Whoo. And the truth is, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have it. And I don't want you to go into 2025 without boundaries. Amen. Amen, everybody. So I want you to go into 2025 very clear about your commitments. Very clear about the commitment to set boundaries. Cut the chaos, cut all the distractions, and define what actually makes you happy, what you want, the type of relationships that you want in your life. Define that, make it clear, make it personal, make it real. Revisit your values. Revisit what makes you happy. Revisit your priorities and actually prioritize them. For me, my priority is my family. My priority is my faith. My priority is my finances. My priority is you, even you guys as well. Because the truth is that God called me to serve all of you who are watching me, even all 300,000 people that follow me across multiple social media platforms. God has entrusted me to steward and to support and to love and to care for and to teach. I can't be getting distracted. I have to even set boundaries in my life so that I'll be able to do what God has called me to do well. And in the same way, there are those of us who are here, you're watching me, you can't afford to not have boundaries in your life. You need boundaries for your finances. You need boundaries even in your faith. Can I go there? Because a lot of people, you let people talk you out of not going to church, talk you out of liking a certain member in your church, talk you out of not reading the Bible. Like some of you, you let what you see online deteriorate your faith, make you question your faith. And it's because you have not set a boundary. This cell phone that's in front of me right here, my cell phone, I even have to set a boundary with this cell phone right here. For example, it's on do not disturb right now because I don't want nobody disturbing me while I'm on live. Another example, I want no notifications coming to my phone because there's going to be things that I want to focus on. I have to set a boundary. No social media notifications, not even text messages. But I have boundaries in place for a reason. Why? So that I won't get distracted. I gotta stay focused. I gotta pay attention to what drains me. I gotta pay attention what brings life, what brings joy and excitement. 2025, let it be the year that you set boundaries. Don't step into 2025 without it. Don't step into 2025 without building better boundaries and building better relationships with people and with yourself. You need a better relationship with yourself as well. Like, do you know you? Do you know what makes you light up? Do you know what helps you feel like you're living in your purpose and you're living in your creativity? You need to identify that, but you can't identify or become better at your skill, at your gift, if you don't have boundaries. I believe that I'm looking at a whole bunch of gifted people, anointed people, people who are great business owners, great mothers, great fathers. We got preachers, future lawyers. Maybe the future president is watching me right now. And I believe that God has called every single one of us to do something great. But you do know if you're going to be great, you need to prioritize your greatness. Because in order for you to be great and to actually learn, you have to be a master at the thing that you've been called or created to be. And no one discovers their greatness without setting boundaries. And no one learns their true potential without setting boundaries. Like, if you're going to master the gift of communication, you need to set boundaries in order for you to master it. I hope I'm helping somebody. If you're going to build what God has called you to build, you can't let gossip or people around you prevent you from pursuing God's purpose over your life. You need to protect your peace. Woo. So let your 2025 be a year where you set boundaries. Let 2025 be the year that you allow God to set boundaries for you. Build better boundaries. Make bold boundary decisions so that you could be more happy, so that you won't allow people to do whatever they want. Guys, I got to go. Let me know if this was helpful in the comment section. Make sure you double tap this screen to like this video, share this video, and subscribe. Maybe the Lord is calling you to partner with me or serve or become a monthly partner. I would encourage you to prayerfully consider becoming a Patreon because you help me to continue to create content like this That way, I will continue to equip you, to pour into you, to help you become who God has called you to become. Like as a pastor, my heart is to equip you so that you could make disciples the way that God has called you to do. And unfortunately, uh, we need resources in order for things like that to happen. So I'm praying that you would pray with me to support this ministry. There are multiple ways for you to give, multiple ways for you to partner. Click the link in the description and you can support right now. God bless you guys. I hope this was helpful. I see you, Chaz, Kimberly, those of you who are on here. I even saw Gary on here. God bless you, Kayla. God bless you, Kimberly, Tim. Man, it's good to see all of y'all. Remember, set better boundaries, especially as you're entering into